Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with another chapter of One Piece, where previously the robotic Kuma arrived on Egghead and made a beeline for Saturn, something that should have been impossible since Saturn had ordered Vegapunk to put a self-destruct in Kuma, but Vegapunk didn't do that. But it was a shut-down switch, which seems not to be working for some reason, with Vegapunk questioning whether or not Kuma's buccaneer nature might be involved, or maybe something more. The power of love, he explains to Saturn, but Saturn is hit full on with a hockey-filled punch, something that shouldn't be possible if Kuma has no emotion. This wrecks Saturn, but Saturn can heal, so he gets right back on up again. And while we do have a touching reunion between Kuma and Bonnie, Kuma can't really respond for some reason. Well, we know the reason, but it's very vague what's going on here. But Bonnie at least gets to convey to what's left of her father that she now understands so much because of accessing his memory. Oddly enough, at the same time, Luffy, who had somehow gotten some food, has also disappeared. Regardless, once Saturn tries to go in on Kuma and Bonnie, Sanji manages to stop the attack, while Frankie comes in with his radical beam piercing through Saturn, which also healed. But Frankie is kicked away by Kizaru. In the chaos, Vegapunk has Atlas take Kuma and Bonnie and get them out of there, while Saturn decides to order a buster call on Egghead. Despite not wanting to lose any of the technology, he's kinda done with a lot of what's going on here. And while the Straw Hats have survived buster calls before, well, at least one of them, this has twice the firepower of the last one. And with an immortal Gorosei and one of the admirals on their heels, not to mention Rob Lucci still doing battle with Zoro, and there's also Luffy's disappearing. The question now is, what happens next? Join me as I find out. Won't you? Aw, Carrot. Why would you give me a cover page with Carrot on it? I miss Carrot. Oh, regardless. One Piece chapter 1105. The height of folly. I feel like that's something Saturn's gonna say. We have the reader request Carrot cooking a stew, which is definitely a carrot stew, and preferably tasting it, which she is, with Inuarashi and Nekomamushi in the background. Looks like they want some, by Odamania's brother. Odamania's running wild, brother. Alright, we see the Marines running as an announcement rings out across the island. All ships prepare to fire. All sailors leave the island. Retreat to your ship. You see them running, going, hurry! And there's an alarm going off. Wheat, wheat! As the Marines run to the Navy ship, they call out, what's happening in the center? No idea, just follow orders. Dahl then calls out, Saint Saturn, Admiral Borsalino, hurry to the ship. But Saturn then says, Kizaru and I will remain on the island. Begin the bombardment when the ships are ready. Jeez, that's how you know they're just like, look, a buster call don't mean anything to us. Dahl questions, huh? But Kizaru just gives a stern go, and this shuts Dahl down as she simply says, yes sir. Meanwhile, Vegapunk, who is confronted by Saturn and Kizaru, says, I thought my life was the only thing you wanted, Saint Saturn. Egghead is packed with the fruits of the latest research in every conceivable field. Destroy it and you'll set the state of scientific progression back 100 years. Call off the buster call. Please, Kizaru! And Kizaru just looks away. Saturn then questions, are you still hiding something? Perhaps something troublesome to the world government? We do not need progress. Yeah, it makes people harder to control if you have progress, right? And Vegapunk simply bows his head, saying, it's for the sake of humanity. Oh, buddy, you shouldn't have said humanity. Saturn don't care for humanity. Saturn then says, I did forget to mention that I've ordered a strike against the ship that escaped the island yesterday. Vegapunk is shocked, saying, what? Saturn says, after all, it's possible that someone on board knew something about the Void Century. A very Akainu type mentality. He continues on saying, I sent battleships after it to ensure there would be no survivor. I have to hope someone intercepted those ships. Vegapunk shouts in anger, how could you do such a thing? They knew nothing. They've committed no crimes. And Saturn simply says, you caused this to happen to them, Vegapunk. You broke the law just as they did at Ohara. You could not overcome your lust for knowledge. and so you had to go digging up the path. And Vegapunk is taken aback by such harsh words. Meanwhile, as the Marines continue to pour into the vessels, we see the Pacifista standing guard. An announcement rings out. The Pacifistas are in standby mode on the island. All other sailors get to the ships. Ship 54, all green. Ship 21, all green. Meanwhile, at the vacuum rocket transportation tube, Sanji commands Frankie, Bonnie, Atlas, and Kuma, "Hurry, get in the vacuum rocket," while Vegapunk is distracting those guys. "We'll meet up at the back entrance of the labo phase." Atlas calls out, "Got it," as Atlas carries Kuma while Frankie carries Bonnie. Bonnie calls out, "Sanji, what about Vegapunk?" And Sanji gives her a thumbs up saying, "Don't worry, Bonnie, I'll bring him back." See, Sanji's in Big Brother mode, thankfully. I mean, going back to the anime, because of the anime, I was like, Sanji never really kind of lusted after Bonnie, thankfully. That really should have been the biggest clue that Bonnie was, not what she seemed. Sanji then activates his communicator, which, man, these head communicators really come in handy. Saying, "Come in, Nami, it's me. This is me. What's the situation?" Nami says, "We're back, already at the back door. What's all the noise down there?" We then pick up at the labo phase, rear entrance, as Nami calls out, "A buster call?" Chopper freaks out as Usopp cries out, "The island's done for!" Yep, and now Robin knows. Third buster call. At this point, it's starting to get a little tame. Nami then questions, "What about Luffy? He's with you, right?" Sanji tells her, "Not in my line of sight at the moment, but he's fine. Focus on yourself." Nami tells him, Zoro's still being held up by Lucci. Still? Dang. So Jinbei went to put a stop to that and keep him from getting lost, right? Did they just leave Kaku back in the laboratory? Dang. That's harsh. Chopper's looking after Robin, so she was downed. Man, what happened to Robin, though? Gee, how did she get so injured? But as Robin begins to stir, Chopper tells her, "You can lie back down, Robin." Meanwhile, Edison is freaking out, saying, "Stella, I'm so worried." After they move... Nami then says, "After they moved the Sunny, Luffy, Frankie, and Bonnie went down toward you. So Brook went to help Lilith, who got left behind." Oh, right, Lilith. I completely forgot after the destruction of the Vega Force. While Usopp is freaking out, saying, "How many times are we gonna have to deal with buster calls? Let's get out of here. Hurry up, people." Nami then tells Sanji, "The problem is, the escape plan where the Vega Force 1 takes us from here to the shore isn't going to work anymore. Kizaru ruined it when he destroyed the robot." Sanji says, "What?" Although then we pick up with Lilith and Brook, with Brook saying, "You see, in my hands, moving a ship across land is but a piece of cake." Yo-ho-ho-ho. He says as he sips some tea. As Lilith, "Are they on the Sunny?" Lilith says, "Very nice work, Bones. We'll be back at the rear entrance in no time." Oh, he used ice so that the Sunny could just skid down. Oh, man. Brook continuing to be the MVP. With Lilith saying, "Who would have thought of turning island clouds to ice for a runway? Brilliant idea and execution." Brook says, "Yo-ho-ho-ho, a compliment from the world's greatest genius. That'll make anyone blush." Lilith then asks, "So how do you stop it at the end?" Brook says, "Oh, I hadn't thought that far ahead." Lilith slaps him, saying, "Then we're gonna slide right off." I mean, yeah. Like, so how do you stop it? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, come on. What did you think was gonna happen? Lilith then questions, "What's your plan then, genius?" While Brook questions, "What do you think it should be, Lilith?" God. Oh, that's good. Meanwhile, back aboard the marine vessels, an announcement calls out, "The labo phase above the clouds is still behind its barrier." The cannons then click into place. And Vice Admiral calls out, "Fire cannons! Begin bombardment. Destroy the central factory and future city." Although you hear Marines calling out, "I'm not on board yet. Careful of the pacifistas." Ooh, and you even see the pacifistas destroying everything. Jeez. And as the city is rained on by blows, you just see Vegapunk knelt down in the destruction, lamenting his city. Man, that's so sad. Ugh, that's really kind of sad. I'm actually having Ohara flashbacks, actually. I'm just thinking about Clover just looking over Ohara, or even Robin Meanwhile, aboard the capsule, Atlas commands it with an announcement coming over. This is Fabriophage. Next up, Lavophage. Atlas tells everyone, here we go, vacuum rocket! And they blast off, with Frankie saying, whoa, what is this? It's so fast! Right, he didn't ride it, because they went up on the Vegaforce. Oh, jeez. Announcement says estimated travel time 32 seconds, and to show how fast he is, suddenly in comes Kizaru using his Ama no Marakumo sword and slices right through the tube and the capsule, with it looking like it barely avoided anyone inside the capsule. Dang it, Kizaru. Speaking of which, Sanji sees this going on, looks up to everyone falling, calls out, damn it, Kizaru! He flies up saying, hang on, Bonnie, I'll save you. Saturn then commands, Pacifistas, shoot down Bonnie and Kuma. Pacifistas listen, raising their hands, getting ready to fire, as Bonnie calls out for her father. Kuma holds her, as Kuma, Bonnie, Atlas, and Frankie all plummet while about to be shot down by lasers. As Saturn thinks to himself, this is just exquisite. The daughter he gave his life to save, killed by his own clones, a fitting end for the insect she is. It is the height of folly. Knew it. I knew it was Saturn who said that, but during such a villainous monologue. I mean, even if he's just thinking it, it's just like, man, what a villain. And as Bonnie looks on at her imminent destruction, Vegapunk looks up at what is about to become these innocents, and Saturn thinks to himself, when I heard you'd become a pirate, Bonnie, there was one awful possibility that flashed through my mind, that the Navy might order the pacifistas taking your father's form to shoot down his own daughter without realizing the irony of it. Oh no, there's full irony right behind this, but it makes me wonder. A lot of people have said that necklace that Vegapunk gave to Bonnie might have been a way of making sure that Bonnie is never attacked by the pacifistas. I do wonder. I mean, Sanji is coming in to try to save them, but will he make it in time? Meanwhile, we see the stuffed Luffy in front of the food machine, surrounded by Marines, who say, hey, that's Straw Hat, right? Capture him, he's one of the 4 emperors. While Luffy's inflated belly has him incapacitated, saying, can't eat anymore, can't move. Meanwhile, out at sea, we see several downed marine vessels, with someone on board weakly saying, we failed to destroy the escaped ship. Must report back to Kizaru. Tell them they went to Egghead. Did they have an encounter with the Blackbeard pirates or someone else? Or is someone else on their way? It's so hard to tell, because it seemed like the Blackbeard pirates were on their way before the Marines showed up. But this should be after all of that. So who's on their way? Or could it be the revolutionary? Because Dragon was trying to figure out where Kuma would have gone to. Man, what if the Blackbeard pirates and the revolutionary show up? Jeez, that would be something else. So we have a buster call going on, Vegapunk's research being destroyed. I wonder, it's really hard to tell if Vegapunk's gonna live through this, honestly. I had hoped that the one ship would have been saved this time around, and it was. But I can only see the revolutionaries saving it, because otherwise I feel like we would have heard that the ship was down too, or it was captured. But the way they phrase it, there was saved, so that feels like revolutionary. And Sanji has his work cut out for him, because he's trying to manage this, that, and the other, but so much is happening. This is like, okay, I'll go rescue Vegapunk, and then that happens with Kizaru and the vacuum rocket. It's just like, okay, now I gotta go do this. So now no one's helping out Vegapunk, but Saturn is vindictive enough to just be like, oh, I'm not gonna kill you, at least not now. I want you to see everything you've worked for burn. I'm still wondering how Robin got injured. It feels so weird not having any information on what happened when we were away from Egghead. And man, the fact that Zoro's still fighting Lucci. Dang. And man, Lilith and Brook on the Thousand Sunny. I wonder how that's gonna go down. I mean, it'll go down off the edge of, but still. And I had for a moment thought that maybe someone had dragged off Luffy, but it's like he got better and then just worked his way over to the food machine and got more food. Or maybe he was already next to the food machine and a bunch of food had already popped out. and that's where the food came from. And I'm just really interested to see what happens next. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, bye-bye.